I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to defend his cause. Maintain the honors of his word, the glory of his cross.
Hello, I'm James Brown, and on behalf of the Eastern Church of Christ located in Toronto, Canada, I'd like to welcome you to today's edition of Walking Through the Bible, a podcast where we seek to study the Bible and the Bible alone. Please stick around afterwards for information on how you can contact us. But for now, please go to the book of Genesis, and we'll turn you over to Jeremy Disocam for our study of the day.
Thank you, James, and welcome to all of our viewers. This is the 140th lesson in our study of Genesis. Yesterday we covered Genesis chapter 41, verses 14 to 24, discussing how Pharaoh called Joseph to interpret his dreams. If you missed that episode and would like to watch it, you can find it and all of our other podcasts on our website at www.eastonchurch.org. You can also find them on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/eastendchurchofchrist under the Walking Through the Bible Genesis playlist. Today we're going to begin with Genesis 41:25 and read through verse 36. The text that you'll see on the screen is from the English Standard Version, but you're welcome to follow along with any version that you have. So let's now read Genesis 41 beginning at verse 25. Then Joseph said to Pharaoh, "The dreams of Pharaoh are one. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dreams are one. The 7 lean and ugly cows that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty ears blighted by the east wind are also 7 years of famine. It is as I told Pharaoh. God has shown to Pharaoh what he is about to do. There will come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, but after them there will arise 7 years of famine, and all the plenty will be forgotten in the land of Egypt. The famine will consume the land, and the plenty will be unknown in the land by reason of the famine that will follow, for it will be very severe. And the doubling of Pharaoh's dream means the thing is fixed by God, and God will shortly bring it about. Now therefore let Pharaoh select a discerning and wise man, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh proceed to appoint overseers over the land, and take 1/5 of the produce of the land of Egypt during the 7 plentiful years. And let them gather all the food of these good years that are coming, and store up the grain under the authority of Pharaoh for food in the cities, and let them keep it. That food shall be a reserve for the land against the 7 years of famine that are to occur in the land of Egypt, so that the land may not perish through the famine." In this chapter, we've been dealing with the dreams of Pharaoh. Just to refresh our memories, let's recount Pharaoh's 2 dreams. In the first dream, Pharaoh was standing by the Nile River, and out of the Nile came 7 fatted cows, followed by 7 sickly-looking cows. Unexpectedly, these 7 sickly cows then swallowed up the 7 fatted cows, and what's more, nobody could tell that they had eaten at all. In the second dream, there were 7 plump ears of grain that grew on one stalk, as well as 7 thin ears of grain that were infected or spoiled by the east wind. These thin ears then swallowed up the 7 plump ears. Joseph's interpretation is immediate and detailed, as this dream had been sent to Pharaoh by God. Even though Pharaoh had dreamed 2 dreams, they both had the same interpretation. The 7 good ears and the 7 fat cows represent 7 years. The 7 thin ears and the 7 sickly cows also represent 7 years. The 7 good cows and 7 good ears represent 1 7-year period of plenty, where the harvest will be great and the people will not go hungry. The 7 sickly cows and 7 thin ears represent 1 7-year period of famine. The famine will be so great that the people will forget the 7 years of plenty. The fact that Pharaoh dreamed this dream twice was God's way of showing that this is what God intends to do, and he will not change his mind. When you read all the way through the Bible, sometimes we read of God saying he'll do something, but that will be conditional on either obedience or disobedience. In other words, what God has said may come to pass based on a given set of circumstances. However, there are other things that God says will come to pass that no matter what we do, these things will come to pass. The promise of the Savior is an example of such a promise. Here, God was going to use the famine in order to bring the children of Israel down to Egypt. Remember, all the way back in Genesis 15:13, lesson 52 of this series, God had prophesied this, and the famine is how he went about fulfilling this prophecy. In light of the prophecy to Pharaoh, Joseph's advice is to select a discerning and wise man that would oversee storing up 1/5 of each year's crop during the 7 years of plenty, so that during the famine the people would not grow hungry and die. Pharaoh would go on to accept Joseph's advice, but little did Joseph know that he would be the man selected by Pharaoh. God had been with Joseph all these years and was now raising up Joseph to the position necessary in order to save his brethren from the famine. With that, our time is up for today. Please join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we will continue our study of Genesis, beginning with Genesis 41, verse 37.
Thank you, Jeremy. And to our viewers, we also thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Should you have a question or comment, please leave them below or email them to answerintheword@gmail.com. We'll try to respond to you as quickly as we can. We hope you'll join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we will be continuing on our study of the book of Genesis. Goodbye for now and have a great day.
I'm not ashamed to own my Lord.